Are you looking to build some muscle? On this video, I'll be sharing with you 10 tips that you can do every single day. Pwede mong gawin araw-araw to build your muscles. What is up guys, Ernest Tomas, and welcome back to my channel, which is all about fitness and entertainment. And today we are going to talk about one thing that a lot of people, including myself, want to do, and that is to build your muscle. Kung paano magpalaki ng katawan. Look, now before I give out my 10 tips for muscle building, I'd like to give a disclaimer that I am not a professional bodybuilder, I am not a dietitian, I am not a personal trainer, I am not a coach, and I am not your mother. What I am is someone who gained some muscle. Now, I may not be the biggest one out there, but pwede na. Pwede na! I was also able to join a fitness competition wherein I was crowned champion of Slimmers World International Great Bodies 2019. So I do know a little something about muscle building. Konti lang, pero pwede na! Now before we get into the tips, I'd like to ask you right now, what is your goal? Ano ba talaga ang goal mo? Bakit mo pinapanood tong video nito? If your goal is to build muscle, and you want to pack some muscle and you want to maybe look better, then this video is for you. Now, if you're an endurance athlete, if you're a marathon runner, this video might not be for you, but you can still pick up some lessons along the way. So let's go to tip number 1, which is to eat your meals. Now, this is very basic. If you want to build muscle, you have to ensure that your body has what it needs to grow. Now, we all know that we need protein to build muscle, so make sure that you consume adequate amounts of protein for muscle building. If you don't know what that is, the literature says that you need around 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of lean body weight. Now I would suggest that you space out your meals, and I would recommend that you eat 4 or 5 meals a day. If you want to grow your muscle, stop skipping meals and try to avoid fasting for long periods of time. You want to make sure that you are continually feeding your body, na palagi mong binibigyan yung katawan mo ng nutrition and ng protein and ng food for you to be able to grow. Sa meals, hindi naman kailangan kompletong meal every single time. You can actually consider, a protein shake and some fruits as a meal, or a protein bar. Now, you don't have to eat every 2 hours like bodybuilders. Hindi yung i-force feed mo yung sarili mo every 2 hours kasi gusto mong lumaki. You just have to make sure that you are eating whenever you're hungry to maximize muscle protein synthesis, or the body's process of building muscle. Paano kung mahina ako kumain? Kasi 2 times a day lang ako kumakain eh. Pero na-hit ko naman yung macros ko, kumpleto naman yung protein ko for the day. Pwede naman. But the thing is, hindi mo talaga na ma-maximize yung opportunity mo to grow. Now think of it this way. I really like Greg Doucette's carpenter metaphor when it comes to building muscles. He says na imaginein mo na merong mga carpenters o maliliit na carpenters around your body, and their goal is to build muscle. Muscle. Now these muscle building carpenters are very hardworking, napakasipag nila, pero alam naman natin na yung mga carpenters wala silang magagawa or hindi sila makaka-build ng muscle if they don't have the materials, if they don't have the nails, if they don't have the wood or the cement. And yung nails, yung wood, and the cement, or the materials that they need to build muscle is actually the food. So if you skip your meals and you fast for too long, hindi mo binibigyan ng materyales yung mga karpentero sa katawan mo para gawin yung mga muscles na gusto nilang gawin. Nakatunga nga lang sila doon kasi wala rin silang materials, wala rin silang food na pwedeng gamitin. Muscle. Tip number 2 is to stop over bulking. Don't get fat. Huwag ka naman magpataba just to build muscle. Bulking, bro. You don't have to bomb your calories, or you don't have to be in such a big surplus for you to be able to gain muscle. Bulking, bro. Stop being so fixated with the target weight you have, that you have to be 200 pounds because your favorite bodybuilder or your favorite fitness model is 200 pounds. Bulking, bro. This is actually a mistake that I made before, because in my mind, I really wanted to be 200 pounds kasi akala ko pag 200 pounds ako, bumigat ako, marami akong nag-gain na muscle. But little did I know that a lot of the weight that I actually gained was actually fat. Bulking, bro. Now, if you're already overweight, if you're already on the heavy side and you're not happy with how you look, you don't need to bulk. You just have to consume the right amount of protein and you don't have to bomb your calories so much. Now, if you're on the thin side, kung medyo payatin ka, yung tinatawag nila na hard gainer, yes, you can up your calories, but you don't have to get fat. Marami kasi sa ating nag-google lang or tumitingin lang sa YouTube at sinusundan yung mga diet ng mga favorite influencers natin or yung mga favorite bodybuilders natin. Sinusundan lang natin kung ano yung kinakain nila. But for the average Filipino like you don't need 5,000 calories. Kaya tandaan na hindi mo kailangan kumain ng sandamakmak na itlog. Sino ka? Si Gaston? Disney? The next tip or tip number 3 is probably my favorite muscle building tip of them all. Now, pro tip. Always have emergency protein sources every time. For me, my favorite emergency protein sources are whey protein, chicken, and beef. So ito yung ginagawa ko. Every time we go to the grocery, palagi ako nagpapabili ng lean beef and lean chicken. So pwedeng lean ground beef or lean ground chicken or yung chicken breast fillets. And what I do is I have them packed in individual packs and I just chuck that in the freezer. So every time na kukulangin ako sa protein, I just have to get one pack and I just cook it any way I want. Alam ko namang tayong mga Pinoy, we are trained to eat whatever is served on the table, and kung hindi mo gagawin yun, ipapagalitan tayo ng mga nanay natin. But if you want to optimize muscle growth, you have to make sure that all of your meals have enough protein in them. Let's say for example, yung ulam nyo ay gulay and rice. Wala namang problema sa gulay and rice. Healthy naman yan. But the problem is, you might have a hard time reaching your protein targets. Palaging ang sinasabi ng mom ko, ang hirap mo naman pakainin. Oh, sige fine, medyo maarte, medyo magastos, but you know, if you want to build muscle, you just have to do what you gotta do. Muscle! Tip number 4 is to train harder or to up your training intensity. Always remember the concept of progressive overload. To make things simpler, just train harder. Make your sets more intense, lift more weight, get stronger. Just be better in training. Progressive overload. If you are following a workout program, don't just rely on the number of reps or the number of sets na binigay sa'yo. If you think that was too easy, then challenge yourself. Make it harder. Lift heavier. Add more reps. Add more sets. Remember that you need to provide the stimulus for muscle to grow. Stimulate. Don't just go through the motions of your workout. Challenge yourself. Pahirapan mo naman yung sarili mo, and I think that's really where you find the fun in working out anyway. Diba? Yung medyo nahihirapan ka, pero nalalaman mo at nakikita mo na lumalakas ka every single time. Fix your training frequency. If you want to see improvements and if you want to build bigger muscles, you'll have to train as often as you can. But make sure that before you train them, they are recovered properly. Now, if you are training tapos sore pa yung muscle na yun and debilitating yung soreness, hindi ka makagalaw, hindi ka makalakad, then give it some rest. But once it is recovered, try to train it again. Isipin mo na lang that every time you train your muscle, you are giving them the opportunity to grow. So, for example, the chest. If you train chest once a week, meron ka lang one opportunity in that week to grow your chest. So, in a month, 4 opportunities. Kung twice a week mong tinitrain yung chest mo, then you get 2 opportunities in that week to grow your chest. And in a month, 2 times 4, that's 8. And in a year, chest. Tip number 5 is to stop ego lifting. Make sure that you are lifting with proper form. When you are lifting or when you are training, try to make sure that you are using the muscles that you want to use and you are working on the muscles that you want to work on. If you want to build your muscles, you would generally want to stick with the hypertrophy ranges, which is around 8 to 12 reps. Now, I know that it's really tempting to impress your friends, impress your crush. Now, tingnan mo itong binubuhat ko, sobrang bigat. Oh, tingnan mo itong binubuhat ko. Oh, lakas! But if you are not doing them properly with proper form, mukha ka lang. Now, I am not saying that you should lift light all the time or magana lang yung buhatin mo every time. The weight when you're lifting to build muscle should be enough for you to do it in proper form. Yung mga 1 rep maxes or yung mga max lifts mo are a good test of strength, but they are not really optimal for muscle building. A lot of people are gonna argue na hindi, when you're training for strength, pagka 1 rep max ka ng 1 rep max, bubuhatin mo yung max mo every single time, you're still gonna gain muscle. Yes, you will still gain muscle, but it is not optimal. In building building muscle, you want to make sure that you increase the time under tension in your workouts and you want to control your reps. Tip number 6 is one thing that is often overlooked by a lot of people who are working out, which is recovery. If you are serious about building muscle, then you have to get serious with your rest, sleep, and recovery as well. Remember to never underestimate the muscle building capabilities of sleep. Now, I am not saying that you should sleep all day at tanghaliin ka na lang every day ng gising. You have to make sure that you are getting enough sleep. Get your 8 hours or 7 hours, whatever you need, to make sure that you are refreshed, you are energized, so that you can push harder in your workouts and you can gain more muscle. Isipin mo na lang na ang muscles are actually growing when you are recovering. Think about it. When you are working out, you're actually tearing down the muscle. Kasi nga nag-workout ka, you are tearing it down. And the growth actually happens when you are recovering after the workout. So you have to be extra serious with your recovery and your sleep. Muscle! Tip number 7 is a tip that I think a lot of you will not like, which is to avoid alcohol. Now, of course, common sense, too much alcohol will impede your recovery. I am not telling you that you should stop drinking at all or you should drop alcohol. Just drink in moderation, have a bottle or two, or just know your limit. Don't put yourself in a situation wherein you will have a hard time recovering because of the hangover. Lakas! Tip number 8 is to avoid losing weight too fast. Try to avoid crash dieting. Now, what happens if you crash diet and you lose weight too fast is that you lose a lot of muscle as well. So if you want to retain the muscle that you are making while losing weight, you have to do it slowly so that you don't lose all the muscle that you worked hard for. The slower you lose weight, the more muscle you retain. Tip number 9 is to stop overdoing cardio. Huwag kang sumobra sa cardio. Yung mga high-intensity workouts, huwag kang papasobra dun. Yes, I understand that cardio is important. Your heart is a muscle that you have to work on as well. But what I am saying is if you want to optimize muscle building is to not overdo it. If you're the type of person who does super intense cardio, let's say around 2 to 3 hours a day, chances are your body won't be able to recover properly. Not only that, if you do too much cardio, too much intense cardio, there is a chance for you to burn and to lose muscle as well. Just try to look at marathon runners and endurance athletes. Most of the time, they don't really pack a lot of muscle because they're actually burning a lot of calories and they are burning a lot of muscle in the process. Again, we have different goals, and for muscle building, cardio isn't something that you would want to overdo. Again, I'm not saying that you should cut out cardio. Do your cardio. Like me, I do my cardio. Now, if you really love cardio at feeling mo mamamatay ka at hindi ka mapakali pag hindi ka nakapag-cardio, just make sure that whenever you do cardio, you have enough time to recover so that you can train harder. Also, make it a point that you consume enough calories and enough protein so that you have enough nourishment for your body to build some muscle. And tip number 10 that I'm gonna give you in building muscle is to stay patient and stay consistent. Always remember that building muscle is more like a marathon and not like a sprint. Learn to enjoy the process, learn to enjoy mastering your workouts, learn to enjoy getting stronger and getting better each and every single day. Huwag ka lang masyadong mainip kung after 1 month or 2 months of working out, parang wala namang progress and wala namang nangyayari sa'yo. Relax! Remember that as with anything in life, as long as you put the work in and you put your heart into it, the results will definitely follow. Just work it. Make it. Do it. Makes us harder, better, faster, stronger. And there you have it. Those were my 10 muscle building tips, mga bagay na pwede mong gawin para lumaki ang iyong mga muscles. Before you leave, please do like this video, leave a comment below, and subscribe to my channel because I have a lot more coming up. I do have some other interesting videos here na pwede mong panuurin. And once again, my name is Ernest Tomas. Until next time, I'll see you soon. Chest.